The year is 1942. World War II rages on. The world is engulfed in a conflict that has already claimed millions of lives and reshaped the geopolitical landscape. The Axis powers, led by Nazi Germany, are pushing their boundaries, while the Allies are desperately trying to hold their ground and turn the tide. Hitler, that ambitious chap, wants oil badly. Where to get it? The Caucasus region, naturally. The oil fields in the Caucasus are crucial for fueling the German war machine. Without a steady supply of oil, tanks, planes and other machinery of war would grind to a halt. Hitler's eyes are set on this region, and he believes that capturing it will secure his dominance. And what stands in his way? A little city on the Volga, Stalingrad. This city, named after the Soviet leader Joseph Stalin, is not just a strategic point, but also a symbol of Soviet resistance. The Volga River is a vital transportation route, and controlling Stalingrad would cut off Soviet supply lines and cripple their ability to defend the Caucasus. Now, Stalingrad wasn't some strategic masterpiece. It was a sprawling industrial city, important for sure, but more importantly, it bore the name of the big man himself, Stalin. The city's factories produced tanks, guns and other war materials essential for the Soviet war effort. But beyond its industrial value, the name Stalingrad carried immense symbolic weight. For Stalin, losing the city would be a personal and political disaster. Taking it, propaganda gold for the Nazis. Losing it, unimaginable for Stalin. For Hitler, capturing Stalingrad would be a massive propaganda victory, a blow to Soviet morale, and a testament to the invincibility of the German army. For Stalin, the city's defense was a matter of national pride and survival. The propaganda machines on both sides were working overtime, painting the battle as a decisive moment in the war. The stage was set for one heck of a brawl. Think of it like this. You're having a house party. The neighbors are being a nuisance, the tension is palpable, and everyone knows that a confrontation is inevitable. The stakes are high and neither side is willing to back down. The battle for Stalingrad was about to become one of the bloodiest and most brutal confrontations in human history. You decide, right? That's it, I'm taking their prize gnome. Except in this scenario, the gnome is a city of 2 million people, and the house party is a global conflict. The German army, confident in their previous victories, launched a massive assault on Stalingrad. The Soviets, determined to defend their homeland, dug in and prepared for a fierce fight. The city became a battleground, with soldiers and civilians caught in the crossfire. Things were about to get messy. The battle raged on for months, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The streets of Stalingrad were filled with rubble, and the air was thick with smoke and the smell of gunpowder. The once bustling industrial city was reduced to ruins, but neither side was willing to give up. The determination and resilience of the Soviet defenders eventually turned the tide, leading to a decisive victory that marked a turning point in the war. The Battle of Stalingrad was not just a clash of armies, but a symbol of the indomitable human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. On one side we have the Germans, the Sixth Army led by Friedrich Paulus, a man who, rumor has it, preferred paperwork to actual fighting. Paulus, a meticulous planner, was known for his strategic mind, but his lack of battlefield experience was a point of contention. His army, the pride of the Wehrmacht, was a formidable force, well-equipped and highly trained, ready to crush any opposition in their path. Joining the party were the Romanians, Hungarians and Italians, all eager to prove their worth to their demanding German allies. These forces, though not as well-equipped or trained as the Germans, brought their own unique strengths and weaknesses to the battlefield. The Romanians, with their fierce determination, the Hungarians with their disciplined ranks, and the Italians with their storied military tradition, all converged on Stalingrad, hoping to share in the glory of a swift victory. Facing them were the Soviets, the 62nd Army under the steely gaze of Vasily Chuikov, a man who believed in fighting for every inch of ground, every building, every room. Chuikov, a seasoned warrior, was known for his tenacity and unyielding spirit. He understood that the battle for Stalingrad was not just a military engagement, but a fight for the very soul of his nation. His soldiers, inspired by his resolve, were prepared to endure unimaginable hardships to defend their city. These weren't just soldiers, these were men and women defending their homeland, their families, their very way of life. The Soviet defenders included not only regular army units, but also civilians who had taken up arms. Factory workers, students, and even children joined the fight, driven by a fierce sense of patriotism and a deep-seated hatred for the invaders. Their determination and courage became the backbone of the Soviet resistance. Imagine a football match. On one side, you have a team of professional athletes, well-equipped, well-trained. The German soldiers, with their advanced weaponry and rigorous training, represented the pinnacle of military efficiency. They moved with precision, their every action a testament to their discipline and preparation. On the other, you have a bunch of locals cobbled together, some even wearing mismatched boots. The Soviet defenders, in stark contrast, were a ragtag group, many of whom had never seen combat before. They lacked the sophisticated equipment of their adversaries, often relying on outdated weapons and makeshift defenses. Yet what they lacked in resources, they made up for in sheer willpower and an unbreakable spirit. The professionals might have the skills, but the locals? They've got heart, they've got grit, and they're playing on their home turf. The defenders of Stalingrad knew every street, every building, every hidden corner of their city. This intimate knowledge of the terrain gave them a crucial advantage, allowing them to launch surprise attacks and ambushes that kept the Germans constantly on edge. Their resilience and resourcefulness turned the city into a fortress where every inch of ground was contested fiercely. The battle for Stalingrad was not just a clash of armies, but a testament to the indomitable human spirit. A story of ordinary people rising to extraordinary challenges. The German plan on paper was simple. Blitz through the Soviet defenses, grab the city, secure the oil fields. Easy peasy. Except they underestimated two things: Russian resolve and Russian winters. The Soviet plan: survive. Hold on for dear life. Make the city a meat grinder. Bleed the Germans dry. It wasn't pretty, but then again, war rarely is. It's like trying to assemble IKEA furniture. The Germans had the instructions, sure, but they forgot to read the part where you need that little Allen key. The Soviets, they were just chucking the pieces together, hoping for the best, and sometimes that's all you can do. Into the furnace. The battle begins. August 1942, the Germans arrive at Stalingrad. They expected a quick fight. They got 6 months of hell. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, pounded the city into rubble. Buildings crumbled. The Volga ran red with blood, but the Soviets fought on. They fought in the streets, in the sewers, in the factories. They fought with rifles, with grenades, with their bare hands if they had to. Every ruin became a fortress, every street corner a battleground. Imagine a beehive that's been whacked with a stick. The bees are angry, they're disoriented, but they're not backing down. Every sting might be their last, but they'll be damned if they let you near their honey. That was Stalingrad. A city in pieces, urban warfare like no other. Stalingrad was a sniper's paradise. The city, once a bustling hub of life and commerce, was reduced to a sprawling graveyard of shattered buildings and twisted metal. The very fabric of the city was torn apart, creating a labyrinth of destruction that both sides had to navigate, or perhaps more accurately, a sniper's purgatory. The snipers, perched in their hidden nests, waited with bated breath, their fingers poised on the triggers. The tension was palpable, as every moment could be their last. The cityscape, with its endless nooks and crannies, was both a blessing and a curse for these sharpshooters. Buildings offered hiding spots, rubble provided cover, and death could come from any direction. The once grand structures of Stalingrad now served as makeshift fortresses, their walls riddled with bullet holes and their floors littered with debris. The very environment seemed to conspire against the soldiers, turning every corner into a potential death trap. One such sniper, Vasily Zaitsev, became a legend. Picking off Germans with deadly accuracy, his name became synonymous with fear and respect as his kill count rose with each passing day. Zaitsev's prowess was not just a testament to his skill, but also to the brutal nature of the conflict that raged around him. He even had a duel with a German sniper ace, a story worthy of its own Hollywood blockbuster. This cat-and-mouse game between two of the deadliest marksmen of the war became the stuff of legend, a tale of wits and precision that highlighted the personal nature of the conflict. But Stalingrad wasn't just about snipers. The battle was a symphony of destruction, with each element playing its part in the cacophony of war. The snipers were just one piece of the puzzle as the city became a battleground for a multitude of forces. Tanks rumbled through the streets, their crews engaging in point-blank duels. These steel behemoths, once symbols of unstoppable power, found themselves in a deadly dance, their armor clashing and their cannons roaring. The narrow streets and alleys of Stalingrad turned these tank battles into close-quarters combat, where every shot counted. Infantry fought hand-to-hand in the basements and stairwells of shattered buildings. The soldiers, stripped of the distance that modern warfare often provides, found themselves locked in brutal, intimate combat. Every room, every hallway became a battlefield as the fight for control of the city raged on. The fighting was brutal, personal, and utterly relentless. There was no respite, no safe haven. The soldiers, driven by a mix of duty, fear, and desperation, fought with a ferocity that defied comprehension. The very essence of Stalingrad was one of unyielding conflict, where the line between life and death was razor thin. Picture a game of hide-and-seek, but with live ammunition. The stakes were unimaginably high, and the consequences of a single mistake were fatal. The soldiers had to rely on their instincts, their training, and a fair bit of luck to survive each encounter. Every shadow could hide an enemy. Every footstep could be your last. The city, with its maze of ruins and rubble, was a constant reminder of the omnipresent danger. The soldiers moved with caution, their senses heightened, always aware that death could be lurking just around the corner. The rules were simple: kill or be killed. In the unforgiving landscape of Stalingrad, there was no room for hesitation. The soldiers had to be ruthless, their survival instincts honed to a razor's edge. The brutal reality of the conflict left no room for mercy or second chances. There were no winners in Stalingrad, only survivors. The city, once a symbol of Soviet strength, became a testament to the horrors of war. The survivors, scarred by the experience, carried the weight of the battle with them for the rest of their lives. Stalingrad was not just a battle, it was a crucible that tested the very limits of human endurance and resilience.